Let's call this meeting to order. Call the roll, please.
Parker.
Here.
Klein.
Here.
Mossberg.
Here.
Kinsey.
Here.
Loxton.
Here. We have a quorum, so we'll go on to the next item, approval of minutes of regular meeting held on 14th August 2023.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with a correction to the spelling of Member Klein's name on item 3.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Parker.
Yes.
Kinsey.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Loxton.
Yes.
Mossberg.
The next item, we'll go on to it, reports from staff. A city manager report.
So, dealing with this lease still. I talked to, what's his name, Mr. Mitchell. I'll find his first name in a second, from ODOT. He actually called me, reached out to me. They are wanting us to renew the lease, but they're wanting to go to a year-to-year lease. Because he said that within the next 18 months to 3 years, they're going to build a new barn, and they're going to vacate this one out here. So they don't know where they're going to build it yet, whether it's out north of town or over by Cherokee, but they're going to vacate this. The latest 5 years. So I told him that I'd bring this up to you, and I'd recommend we obviously get update this thing since it's typed in 1962, and get it to Drew and get him to look at it. But I still can't find out what a reasonable amount is. I've worked with Chief Miller, and we've looked at this app he has. And for what we can tell, this is the only ODOT barn in the state that is on municipal property. Even Buffalo's is outside the city limits on state-owned land. And so is Cherokee's, and so is everybody else. This is the only one that's on municipal property. So I don't know what the right answer is to go back and charge these guys per year for the next few years while they're vacating. I said the closest thing I can come up to is using one of our most expensive leases we have currently with the city and just multiplying that out. And basically $58.45 per acre, 4.3 acres, roughly $251.33. I mean, I don't know how to figure that because there's nothing to compare it to.
I did get an email response from Nick Young from the OAC, and he was asking if I could provide him with the current lease and what the rate has been to this point, and we have a PDF version of our airport layout drawing. Mainly wants to confirm how the land is currently designed by the FAA, and he would also said there's no specific rate that's used across the board, but for a non-aeronautical lease, you'd essentially put it at a similar price point as you would get on the commercial real estate market for similar facilities. So, I mean, that would be kind of...
Whatever the lease rate is across the street.
Yeah.
We can figure that out. Because I've got to rewrite this obviously and bring it back to y'all next time anyway, after Drew looks at it. And we can check across the street for commercial rates. So like I said, it's only going to be at the most 5 more years. So.
Yeah, I know they talked about that off and on for years.
Yeah, apparently they're serious about it this time.
Yeah.
So.
They want more property, more
Yeah.
area, and we just don't have it available.
Like I said, I can take it back and I can continue working with Derek and figure out what the commercial rates around here are. I assume most people own this land, but I can find out if somebody leases that. And then get this retyped to get to Drew, bring you guys back a clean copy next meeting for everybody to kind of look at and approve.
Did you get any feedback from them as to what they thought would be reasonable?
Not really, so they don't pay lease money to anybody else.
No.
So they had nothing to compare to either. So. Like I said, interesting turn of events today.
Briefly looking at the financials, pretty sure I mentioned after July, but we had more, probably the way things fell, it looked like July was a little bit out of whack. All of that kind of righted itself in August. August, we are on target for revenue, and we're under budget for expenditures by about $17,000 after 2 months. So everything's moving along pretty good there. I will just kind of mention to the board in the event that we've got a CD discussion coming up here in a couple items, but there is now a local option for a high yield savings account here in Alva. It's got 2 days liquidity with it's insured up to $50 million. Is that right, Steve?
Mm-hmm.
$50 million. And so we're going to be looking at probably having a pooled, we have set up a pooled investment account for the city for those items of dollars that are restricted in nature for certain purposes, but not necessarily items that we can tie up in a 3, 6, 12-month CD because of the projects that we've got coming down the pipe. So, if that's something the board is interested in, we do have the capacity to set up a line for airport investment funds in that. It does have a variable rate, so as rates go up and down, the rate will vary with that, but it right now is sitting at about 5.1.
5.14 this month.
And so it's a little bit less than a CD, but with 2 days liquidity without penalty, not a bad option for us, because particularly since we can't do anything that has any risk. So keep that in mind. We are continuing to work on the 2 main water projects and getting ready to add a 3rd water project into the mix with 16-inch line south of town. The water meter project's getting ready to fire back up again probably in a week or 2. And we had to get a new water meter installation crew. That's getting ready to fire back up. And then Locust Street probably going to go out for bid here
This week. I
this week.
talked to Bill Saturday. When that leak popped up, he's like, all right, we're going out for bids. So that should happen this week.
City Council is anticipating having a couple loans to pursue on the agenda. One of them would be for the swimming pool, and council will be voting on whether or not to pursue a loan to fund the gap between what's been donated and what we received in grants and what the engineer's estimate costs are going to be. And so that we're looking at that being about $1.6 million out of 5 to potentially finance using the AEDA half-cent sales tax that's for Parks and Recreation. So that wouldn't be a new tax. It wouldn't be anything other than using the existing tax that was put in place to build the recreation complex, which is now paid off, and then just borrowing against that revenue. The other item is for more water infrastructure, and we're looking at a $5 million loan on that. The instructions we gave the bond council were how much can we borrow without having to increase our rates and without going over, without increasing our annual debt obligation, because we got some debt going away. And so $5 million is what we can do there for 20 years, I think. The recreation complex for the pool, or the loan for the pool was 15 years, I think for the water's 30. Okay, that makes more sense. But we're looking to do that also at the next city council meeting. Aside from that, there's a handful of us, Steve, myself, council member Sadie Beer, Councilmember Gail Swallow will be attending the Municipal League Conference next week, or the week after. No, it is next week, isn't it? Yeah, I leave after City Council meeting next week. With that, I just got notification from Park Hill that they'll have a dinner for all of their customers down there at the conference. So if you find yourself in Oklahoma City on Tuesday evening, let me know and I'll get you a free meal. Basically, I think that kind of sums everything up. I'll backtrack a little bit. On the pool, assuming there's a favorable vote for the financing option with that, we'll be prepared to go out for bids that week. So it's moving right along.
Any of those grants or loans used on sewer?
We will qualify for some loan forgiveness next year on sewer.
Anybody else have anything?
The potential $5 million loan on the water infrastructure, how far does that let you go with your infrastructure? I mean, is that like 30% of what the city has, or
Oh, no. 5%?
5%?
So, aside from the stuff we're doing out in the well field with the groundwater taker thing, the plan that Myers put together is roughly about 20,000 linear feet in town.
So we'll be looking at replacing some of our oldest lines in town, or most deteriorated. Most of those are going to be 4-inch lines. 4-inch lines are out of compliance with fire hydrants, so we're going to be upgrading to 6-inch lines, 20,000 feet of that. But then about half of that $5 million is going to be spent out at the well field with our telemetry system. Today, we send somebody to the well field, 28 miles one way, every day, just to check and make sure the system is running properly. Telemetry system will allow us to not have to do that for one, and it will help us stay in better compliance with DEQ requirements. We'll also be replacing the half million gallon ground tank, the water storage tank that's out there. That tank is what allows us to gravity feed all of Alva without having to have a booster station to supply Alva's water. So that tank would be included, and then some well rehabilitation out there. $5 million in the totality of our water infrastructure, like I said, is about 5%. But in terms of where we're having the most labor presently, it's going to take care of, maybe 25-30% of all of our labor by taking care of those things that we're talking about.
How's your meter replacement program going?
The new crew will be here next week or so to finish that. We got rid of the old crew and brought in a new crew. The crew that they sent us to begin with didn't have any experience. They were having some issues, and so we asked the contractor to get us a new crew, and that's what they did. Gave us a little bit of a delay, but we weren't anticipating even doing this project until November or December, so we'll take a few weeks delay to get the crew out here, more experienced crew out here to take care of our project. Did I leave anything out of relevance? Okay. I'm happy to try to answer any other questions.
Anybody else have any questions for the city? If not, we'll go on to the airport manager's report.
We had a total of $43,764.39 fuel sales last month. Jet A sales were back to where they have been, and the avgas was actually a little higher than normal, but might slow down, I guess, once the runway lights start getting worked on the 18th, but I still think they'll come in. So September 18th, the runway will be closed all day until they're done setting up, which they said could be 3 o'clock, could be after 5 o'clock, but so we'll have to put a note out for that runway to be closed all the 18th. So everything's kind of getting delivered this week, so hopefully, weather permitting, yeah, we can get this thing going. Maintenance-wise, we had to put a new alternator and battery in the green Buick. The bad alternator made for a bad battery, so we got those replaced. The PTO shaft and everything got damaged again on the bat wing, so we took it to Western. The thermostat in the hallway for the west side was going crazy, so I replaced it. I thought I'd replace this one too while I was at it, so they at least all match. And they're not as ancient. I'm trying to figure out how to program them. We did get the Jet A delivery last month on the 17th, and the traffic was so high that we had to get another load of Jet A on the 8th. And I just had to, I got an order of avgas coming before prices go way up because they're trending pretty high. So I figured, we're low enough that I need to order it anyway, so we're trying to get it before the price goes sky high. The Young Eagles is confirmed for October 14th, so hopefully we get some more kids signed up. If the weather isn't good enough on the 14th, the makeup date is October 28th. But so far, I think it'll work out for the 14th. I will be getting the Franks and stuff from Whittett's for the lunch for the kids and the parents and everybody who comes in, so there'll be a free lunch. And that's pretty much all I have, unless anybody has anything else.
No, I'm not going to light on water tower.
Oh, well, the guy who was going to replace that left, so he volunteered to climb up there. I'll have to find somebody again.
So you guys raise your hands?
You got that drone for, right?
Need to put some arms on it.
If you got any feedback on the videos you've posted on Facebook? I know there was like 2 or 3 you did one at the terminal, and then one at inside the terminal, how busy you were that one day. And then
We got, there were some, I don't remember how many views we got on the drone videos, and then the one that put in from Saturday, where we had a bunch of transients in eating. So, I had probably 3 pounds of deli meat in there, and they took it all, so I went and replaced it this morning, so. But yeah, we've had some feedback, mainly just views and likes. Nobody's really commented. If they do comment, we don't really want to read them anyways. Here lately.
Anything else for the airport manager? If not, we'll go on to the next item. Presentation of QT bot to replace the current fuel master system.
It is $22,000 and something, as you guys see on there. And ASAP would be the ones that would come install it. There's 2 quotes on there because of the type of pump we have. It'll cost about $3,000 more than normal for the diodes or whatever they have to put in on there. So, but they will put Ethernet and Wi-Fi hookups also. It'll be run cellular, but it'll have the Wi-Fi internet backup. And there's certain qualities of this QT pod that will work out to our advantage. Instead of having the Pro Key, will be issued. Customers will be issued a card, and you'll use that card. It'll be just like the Pro Key, but if any accounts are delinquent, whether it be hanger rent or fuel or hanger, we can shut that card down. And so they wouldn't be able to get fuel, even if their hanger rent is, if we wanted to put something in there in some sort of fuel policy, we could do it that way. But so far, like I said, everybody who's switched to a QT pod has been very happy with it.
That's what Enid has, isn't it?
Enid, Woodward, El Reno, most everybody is switching to them because we're not the only ones that have issues with Fuel Master. So.
And how fast can they do it? If
If we approve it, they'll put the order in 2 weeks to a month. They'll be installed.
you don't heard that from the other.
Huh?
You heard that from the other.
Well, yeah,
And
Well,
about a year later.
yeah. But this one's actually from even El Reno got theirs in about 2 weeks. They were installed and ready.
Is there a warranty on this?
There's the maintenance deal on there. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what warranty's on it, but it'll have a maintenance deal. What it is it's simple enough. It's like a plug and play. So if something's wrong with it, they can diagnose it and then send us the part to where we could put it in ourselves, or we could have them come.
So that's what that $945,
Yeah.
that's that yearly subscription.
Yeah.
But if something's, if a part goes bad, either or whatever it is,
Yeah.
section of it, I mean, are we going to be out $1,800 within
No.
30 days? I mean, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm pretty sure there's a warranty. I guess it's not on that, is it?
That was part of the service agreement and stuff.
Yeah.
They do a lot of maritime stuff. We went and looked at the website and we looked at some other stuff. And yeah, they make most of their stuff. The aviation is kind of the smaller, the lakes and that kind of stuff more for. And they really pride themselves on it being, you don't have to have somebody there attending to it all the time. That's their main focus, and they've been around for a while.
But this is what we'd be putting on the Jet A fuel system as well, once that goes in.
That one wouldn't be as expensive because it'd be a newer pump system, so we wouldn't have to have that. The conversion kit, yeah.
But this is the only thing that's really available for what we're doing. We have no other options.
No, like Fuel Master.
Any other questions? We'll have to put it on the next agenda to vote on it, because there's no action.
Well,
Is it within their spending limit?
it's within, I'd say if we wanted to, I mean, we don't have to take action. It's within Steve's spending limit. So if it's, unless there are objections, I mean, he can do
I
it.
mean, it's what we have to do.
I'm
There's
in
no other
favor of
option,
it.
so.
I just want to make sure that if something electronic screws up in the next 30, 60 days, that we're not
before I sign anything, we'll call those guys and make sure we find out what the warranty is, and make sure we're covered.
Yeah.
If it doesn't look like it's a good deal, then
Yeah,
we'll bring it back.
If it doesn't work, we gotta take it.
Yeah.
If people come in, they can't get fuel.
Yeah, I mean, I call first thing in the morning and find out, pretty sure.
Does this system resolve our conversation we're having about the military access?
Yeah.
That's still entirely different, correct? Okay.
Yeah. This would, the benefit of this being ASAP doing the install too is, like I said, it took me a week or so just to get in contact with the customer service representative that we had with Fuel Master, and I could call him and he'd answer probably any time, so.
ESAP has a vested interest in making sure this works, because we buy our fuel from them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And you've been very happy with the service you've received.
Yeah.
So far.
I mean, I called Thursday for today fuel, and I got it on Friday, so the next day. So. And I can call him and ask him what he thinks the prediction of the prices are going to be, and he'll let me know if I need to hurry up and get it, or if I can wait a couple of days or a week. So, it's very nice.
I think it's something we should proceed with.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, nothing more there. We'll go on to the next item. Discussion and action regarding the purchase of an aircraft tag from Stan Tucker for the price of up to $4,500.
This was just brought up one day, and he showed me pictures and asked if I'd be interested, and I said, well, possibly. And so he asked if he brought it up here, we could use it for a little while and see if we liked it. And he said he was going to look around on prices, and so I kind of did the same. It's 48 volt. You can start up to the 28 volt airplanes. It's got 3 batteries back there. It can tow capacity is 12,500 pounds, which is right about the size that we have out here on jets. And then the load capacity is 3,000 pounds, but I don't ever see loading 3,000 pounds on that thing. But he was asking 4,500 for it, which I thought was technically, when I was looking at the prices, I mean, they're still wanting anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000 for one that's in this kind of condition. I didn't see any under $4,500. It's not something that we have to have, but I mean, they kind of solve some of our tugging issues. I don't know if we'd ever find one that's cheap.
Didn't you get some compliments on the fact that you had it out here?
Well, we did, yeah. One of the Citation 2s came up, landed. He was here before because he was going to land somewhere east. I can't remember exactly where, but there was a tornado activity out there, so he landed. He was forced to land here, and he called and asked if we had a GPU. And we did, so he landed here. And he started off our GPU after he refueled him, and then he came back last week. We had the tug sitting out there, and he's like, "Oh, you guys got a tug?" I was like, "Well, we're thinking about it. If we could, buy it." Of course, he has made this his stop mainly because we have a GPU. But when he was leaving, there was another Citation coming in, and he was hyping us up. He was kind of hyping us up so much that I was kind of nervous. I didn't want to let the new guys down because it's the first time they've been here. But going over and said, "Yeah, they got a GPU," and told them all this stuff. And they said, "Yeah, and they might even be getting a tug." So it's something that kind of for looks, I guess. I mean, I'm not 100% sure we need one, but I mean, like I said, would be kind of nice to have.
I'm kind of like you are. I don't know that we necessarily need it. We've got the jump start deal here that would jump anything. The zero-turn mowers do an excellent job of moving little airplanes, and then we've got the little John Deere tractor that can move the larger airplanes if that comes about.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, it's just another piece of equipment that you have to maintain and keep up.
Store it somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm not,
Well, you seemed pretty keen on when you had that one remote control
well, yeah,
gizmo in here.
yeah.
You seem to like it really well.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you had your options, would you rather have something like that or something like,
I would rather have the little tow bar.
well, I think that's what we need to save our money for then.
I mean, you don't, how often do you tow an airplane?
Not a big one.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to tow one of those big jets anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, the liability issues there and the peculiarities are such that,
The only one that we've really, well, I say that, we have towed some for fueling purposes over to the pump because our truck was down. So we have done that, but we've used the tractor. But, yeah, I mean, I was just, we wanted to know if we wanted it, and like, one way or the other doesn't bother me, but if it was something that you guys thought was nice for the airport, then
Does it come just with like little luggage cart things too?
good. Yeah.
it's,
That's what it looks like.
I kind of find it neat because I can just kind of go around, but the more I think about the batteries and stuff, ever have to replace those, would be kind of expensive.
the golf cart would do the same purpose, probably for less money, and you might get even more use out of a golf cart than this.
I would rather have a gator or something if I was going to.
Yeah, or a gas-powered golf cart that where you can run from end to end with your weed eater and
Yeah.
different things.
Yeah. Unless you want to put that on the gator.
So, I don't know if we want to take any action there, or we just want to let it die without.
Do we need to take action just so we can tell Stan that we're not interested? Stan waiting on an answer from us?
Yeah, I mean, he won't have any issues selling it, so it's not that big a deal. I mean, I think there's probably already somebody on the grounds that would buy it already anyways.
Okay.
We don't need to.
Okay.
We need to make a motion to decline.
I would formalize it, I guess. We don't have to, but I mean,
I just let it die.
Yeah.
No action.
So, no action, we'll go on to the next item. Item 7, discussion and action regarding CD number 479090.
so items 7 and 8, they're both CDs that are renewing. I'm fairly certain these were 6-month CDs.
I think that's right.
And right now, for the CDs that we've been renewing for other parts of the city, we've been getting, 5.25, 5.4, I think is the last one we got on a 6-month, and it was the same for 6 months as it was 12 months, and that was last week. It was probably about the same money as both these combined.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we might not get, as much for these as we did that one because it was one and it was a higher amount. But what I guess what we try to do when we get these in front of the airport commission is to decide if we want to reinvest them and if we have a preference on the length of the term. Of course, if we want to cash them out, this is the time to do it. If we want to reinvest them, we can direct the treasurer to get us the best, rate he can get us, either 6 months or 12 months or 3 months or, everything the finance committee's been doing here lately has been 6 months, and there's not been a lot of up or down movement on a 6 month from what we've been seeing, so.
Or the other option is to invest in the high yield savings account.
Or we could do that, we could put it in the high yield savings account, but with our cash balance in our checking account sitting at 1.2, over 1.2, we're not in a, I'd say we could take the few extra percentage points on a CD, and because we're not worried about having to make that.
We're not going to need the funds for at least 12 months.
I don't think so. We're gonna do a lot of work to need that much money.
Yeah. So,
My recommendation would be to have the treasurer seek 6 months and 12 months and take whichever's the best.
That's what I do.
yeah.
So, is that a motion, Paul?
I'll make a motion that have the city treasurer evaluate 6 month and 12 month CDs and take the best, rate and reinvest.
Second.
Motion and second. Call the roll, please.
Kinsey,
Yes.
Mossberg,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Logston.
Yes.
Do we need to do it again?
Do it again.
Next item is discussion action regarding CD 50045.
Make a motion that we have the city treasurer look at reinvesting the CD at 6 month and 12 month rate and take the best deal.
Second.
Second. Okay, we got a motion and second. Call the roll, please.
Kinsey,
Yes.
Mossberg, Logston,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Go on to the next.
Steve, make sure and get all that to Trent.
We'll go on to the next item, remarks and inquiries by airport commission members. Anybody have anything?
Well, with the discussion of a high yield savings account, would there be any thought of us moving some of our funds that's in that checking into something like that? I mean, if we designated a certain amount, if it's going to be accessible within 2 days, I mean, is there something we can do with cash sitting there?
I think we could, because we're keeping about 100 and right at 100,000 in our pool cash account for operations. I think you could take the vast majority of that in 2 day liquidity, and because we're going to need it for our projects that we've got with lighting and the rest of it. We could, with that amount of money, we could definitely put it in the savings account. It's not doing us, maybe a 0.5%. I don't know if we're getting anything in our.
I'd much rather put it on something to gain us, if it's 5% or 4%, something.
No percent.
Yeah.
Because there's none of our projects that we're doing that we're going to need anything faster than 2 day liquidity.
Yeah.
At the minimum, they'll give you a 2 week bill. They'll give you a bill that's due in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and honestly, that helps the banks out. It gives them more lending power and stuff like that. So, in the long run, it's helpful.
This doesn't require our action. I mean, the Finance Committee and Treasurer, if this is the direction that, I don't know, it's a little bit delicate. They can do this without our approval. We don't want them to, because we've had that problem in the past.
Do we want to just put it on the next agenda?
I'd prefer to put it on the next agenda. That way
We have a clear record then.
we've got a clear record that we said do it, because it's not an action item today.
Let's go that way.
Okay.
Okay.
Any commission members got anything else? If not, we'll go to the next item, remarks and inquiries by citizens. And we have nothing, so we'll adjourn.